What more ideal subject for an artist than these Japanese flowers in America? Gift of the Mikado to Uncle Sam, the cherry blossom.
And that was 80 years ago here at the Tidal Basin. The cherry blossoms have long been a subject of artists' work. This year, a late wintry blast threatened the very delicate blossoms, but as you can see behind me, the famous Tidal Basin trees still have managed to put on a spectacular show. Joining me now, Mike Litterist of the National Park Service. Mike, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome to Tidal Basin.
Like you had said, the National Park Service prepares for a couple things every year, but this is really one of those big events that you prepare for, and I can see here hundreds of thousands of people are out today.
This is the big event, this and 4th of July, but you know, the return of the cherry blossoms, the peak bloom that everybody counts down and waits for, it really heralds the return of spring to the nation's capital, and as we've seen, it seems like the entire city is out today.
Typically blooming around April 4th, as you mentioned. This year, perhaps a little bit earlier, but then you had that winter blast come in. How did that throw things for a loop a little bit?
Boy, we had a roller coaster this year. We always make the peak bloom projection the first week of March, and originally we were looking at possibly the earliest peak bloom ever. We originally projected May 14th, or March 14th. Had a little bit of cold weather, that pushed back, and then we had a late snow. We had a deep freeze last weekend. Sort of unprecedented. We had about 50% of the blossoms almost to peak bloom, and then we hit a deep freeze. We lost about half of the blossoms.
Boy, you still see the crowd.
But again, if you haven't been here before, you probably don't even notice the difference. Longtime DC residents come down, probably notice a little bit less dense color. We're going to refer to it as a marbling effect this year.
Okay, marbling effect. More than 3,800 trees, I think you mentioned, not just here at the Tidal Basin, but across the district.
Correct. The National Park Service administers 3,800 trees. The famous trees are the Yoshino trees. Those are the ones that ring the Tidal Basin. But we've also got other trees that will bloom later in East Potomac Park. The grounds of the Washington Monument as well have some. So anywhere you can walk today, you're going to see blooms out.
You probably have a lot of folks asking about the tradition and the symbolism that comes along with these very ornate, beautiful flowers. What do you normally tell folks?
As I mentioned, the modern day symbolism is it heralds the return of spring to the nation's capital. But the gifts themselves date back to 1912, a gift from the people of Tokyo to the people of the United States. It's been a 105-year tradition of gifts and friendship. We have returned the favor with flowering dogwood trees to the people of Japan. We've shared cuttings and grafts from these original trees with the Japanese, especially after World War II, so that they could replant. And we still get gifts from the Japanese to help us replace the 90 or so every year that die off.